Hello, and thank you for joining the latest in our lunchtime series for Hendricks Wealth and Estate Management. Today's topic is the three professionals you need in your life, and I am joined today by Jim Madel, Dan Leitner, and Tom Anderson from our office. And we're just going to be talking about three different professionals that we think everybody can use to help them to become financially successful. I am your host. My name is Sean Hendricks. I am a licensed attorney. I am a licensed financial advisor. And since we are in the seasons of leprechauns and a little bit of allergies, apparently, so please forgive me if I'm a little sniffly. But so you can see there the all the green and the festive stuff for St. Patrick's Day. The three people that you need in your life. Not surprisingly, since we are financial advisors, number one on the list is financial advisor. Also, since I am an estate planning attorney, I made number two on the list, estate planning attorney. The third one on the list is a CPA or a tax preparer. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the different ways that all three of these professionals can help you in your life. For professional number one, a financial advisor, it's a financial advisor. A lot of people think it's just an investment guy, right? And someone that you send your money to, or you have invest your retirement accounts, and they invest them, and that's about it. But it's a good financial advisor is so much more than that. A good financial advisor should help you to create a financial plan. They should help you with investment management, with retirement planning, estate planning, life transition management, and financial coaching. And all of those things are a little different. So we're going to talk about each one of those in a little more detail. One of the more important things that we do when we work with our clients is we help them create a plan, which means we develop goals based on your specific circumstances. It's all based around you, and we constantly monitor that plan to help you get on track and stay on track. So when we meet with clients, we want to make sure that we develop a plan, not just because it helps us create goals for you, but it also helps us be better advisors, to make sure that the things that we're doing are tailored to you from the day that we do it, but also that we stay on track with that over time. And that leads to item number two on the list, which is investment management. We want to make sure that we are investing in you in a diversified portfolio based on your risk tolerance. And since that can change over time, making that financial plan and sticking to it is a super important part of that. And then for investment management, your advisor should be relying on their skill and experience to help you select investments that are right for you. And we here at Hendricks Wealth and Estate Management actually have a team that we use to help review our investments periodically to make sure that we're using the things that we all believe are in your best interest. Number three, retirement planning. So everybody's familiar with at least the concept of retirement, right? It's what you're working towards for your whole life. And planning in the pre-retirement stages means trying to help make sure that your nest egg is big enough that by the time you retire, you can retire comfortably and confidently. But then it goes even a step beyond that. And it's about making sure that we are using the assets that you have in a strategic way, and that we're making adjustments both in terms of risk and the types of investments that we're investing in as appropriate, because we want to make sure that we're using the assets in the best possible way throughout retirement for you. And item number four that a financial advisor should be able to help with is estate planning, which you might think, hey, wait, I thought estate planning attorney was number two, the second professional. But as financial advisors, we are helping to manage one of the biggest, if not the biggest asset that a lot of people have, which is their retirement nest egg. And that's a huge part of each person's estate. And a lot of times that doesn't even necessarily get managed as part of someone's estate plan that they might develop with an estate planning attorney. For example, if you have a retirement account, chances are, and I certainly hope that you have named beneficiaries on that account. And if you have, then whatever other type of estate planning device you have, whether that's a trust or a will, your retirement assets aren't even necessarily going to go through that. So we want to make sure that we as financial advisors are being very mindful of your estate plan and what it says, because we very, very much want your estate plan and your retirement plan to work in concert with each other. So we want to make sure that we look at all your assets, your retirement accounts and your home, all your other tangible property, to make sure that we're doing things in the smartest possible way. And the smartest possible way might mean that we are looking at the different tax treatments that those assets might get, and we might actually come up with a plan for you that can treat those things differently based on what's going on with your beneficiaries. So that's something that we can look at as financial advisors, and in a way, it's almost looking at your estate both through the eyes of an estate planning attorney, but also as a financial advisor. Another big thing that financial advisors help with is life transition management. Okay, most people think of, hey, I've got an investment guy or a retirement guy, but they're not thinking of, hey, I'm moving. What do I need to do? Things do I need to think about to make sure that my plan stays on track? Or if, for big life events, having kids, college, marriage, divorce. People don't necessarily think, hey, I need to talk to my financial advisor about all that stuff. But all those things have huge, huge impacts on your long-term financial outlook. So I would absolutely say that when you're having life transitions, we become kind of these mini financial transition life coaches to help make sure that you stay on track. And it's just because those are things that when you have a financial plan, those things can change the plan, and we have to change accordingly. And then finally, the number 6 on the list is financial coaching, right? A big part of being successful in retirement and saving for retirement is making sure that you develop the financial discipline to be a good saver and to be a good retirement spender. And so we spend a lot of time working with people and coaching them to make sure that you're trying to develop those good habits. And that includes avoiding debt or eliminating debt, saving up to make sure you're putting away enough, and automating that process so that you don't even notice it or you don't even feel it. And when you develop those good habits, they stay with you. And those are among the most determinative things that help you make sure that you're ready to live the retirement that you want to live. So with all that stuff that I just talked about with a financial advisor, how does that help? And there have been multiple studies that have shown that working with a financial advisor can net you between 1.5 and 3% in returns each year above just doing it DIY. And a big part of the reason for that isn't even necessarily related to which investments you choose, right? I mean, we're constantly watching the investments, and we're constantly trying to find the things that we think will be in our clients' best interests. But that same research showed that a lot of the reasons that people do better with an advisor has a lot to do with things that aren't just related to picking investments. And one of the biggies is behavioral coaching, right? When we help you develop that mindset to start investing and stick with it, you end up investing more. And when you invest more, you stand the potential to gain more when the market does well. Another big factor in that is we take your finger off the trigger, right? We're putting a human being between you and that red button to sell when the market gets rough. And that is something that if you're a DIY investor, or if you're using like a robo plan, through like an AI plan, your finger's still going to be on that trigger. And the evidence has shown that people are notoriously bad at picking when the market is going to bottom and when it's going to top out again. So by having someone who can help you talk you down during those times of panic can really provide a huge, huge benefit. The next one is just it's planning, and sticking to it. Meaning, when you have a plan and you have goals and you stick to them, chances are you're going to do better than if you just haphazardly, throw 20 bucks in here and there. It becomes too easy to just say, "Oh, I'm going to do it next month," or you may have the potential to procrastinate. So having a plan and sticking to it really can make a huge, huge difference. And finally, when it comes time to actually retire, being risk appropriate and tax efficient can help you save, or in other words, it can help you keep more of those invested dollars invested. And therefore, the more you keep, the more you have. So all of these things are things that a financial advisor can help with. And, please take this with a grain of salt, but why we think that everyone would benefit or could benefit from working with a financial advisor. The second professional on our list is an estate planning attorney. Now, I happen to be one, but I like to, there's a saying that I have that a good estate planning can just help you draft a will or an estate plan or a trust. But a really exceptional estate planning attorney can actually save you more money than they would charge you. Because if it's done right and you set things up with enough planning in advance, you can either save your estate a whole lot of money by doing things like possibly avoiding probate with a trust, or you could potentially save your beneficiaries a lot of money in taxes by being smart about the way you allocate the assets in your retirement. And if it's done correctly, the savings could really add up to a point that the amount that you're charged by the attorney could actually seem relatively small by comparison. But it's also more about you spend your whole life working, right? Do you really want to trust that to like some form that you found for free on the internet? And do you really want to say like, hey, I'm just gonna roll the dice here? That's too big of a risk. Why not utilize the services of a professional who it's their job, right? They have a professional responsibility and they have a license to make sure that they understand what's going on with the law and they're keeping track of the changes that happen. So I would say don't put it in just anyone's hands. Make sure that you're working with someone that you're comfortable with and that you can trust. And when I talk about that, like why you should find an estate planning attorney and why you should trust them, an estate planning attorney covers a lot, right? And these things are super duper important and they really involve the people that you trust the most in your life. An estate planning attorney should help you work on coming up with a plan to pass along your assets, right? That's kind of a no-brainer. Everybody says, hey, that's what I think of when I'm thinking of a will or a trust. But there are even more potentially important things depending on who you are. Sometimes people don't know that if you have kids below the age of 18, one of the most important things that your estate plan will do is it will name who will take care of your kids if something happens to you. That arguably is the most important thing, right? If your kids are under the age of 18 and, yes, it's important to pass your assets along to them, but by far more important, making sure that the person that you trust most would take care of them. Another super important thing is a healthcare power of attorney, or sometimes called a healthcare surrogate, can name who's going to make healthcare decisions for you if you can't make them for yourself, right? Again, trust. You really have to trust that person. And you might have someone specific in your life that you would want to make. Maybe they have nursing experience or doctor experience. Someone that will make the right decisions for you based on your wishes. Along that same line, again, arguably could be the most important thing, who would make end-of-life decisions for you? Who would have the ability to instruct doctors to either provide or withhold care for you in an end-of-life situation? Again, that's a biggie. So again, someone you want it to be someone that you really trust. And then finally, who can manage your finances? So who could step in and act for you if you were unable to make those decisions for yourself? Who could help make sure that the mortgage is getting paid? Or in cases like if someone had declining mental capacity, right? Early dementia or Alzheimer's, who could step in and actually manage the financial affairs while that person is still alive. So it's making sure that just everything is covered. It's not just about, your house or your bank account. It really is about finding those important people and naming them to those important roles in your life. Finally, the third professional is a CPA or a tax preparer, which I am not. I am a financial advisor. I am an attorney. I am not a CPA. But I don't think I need a study to say that taxes are not fun. Most people don't like them. But I did actually find a study that said 56% of Americans either hate or dislike doing their taxes, which to me, that's the most remarkable thing about that is that 10% were neutral and 34% liked it. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of accountants out there who just live for this. But to me, doing taxes is one of my least favorite things to do. So why not outsource that, kind of the worst part of life? And with a CPA or a tax preparer, they can help you in a few different ways. The number one, and I think this is the one that everybody thinks of, is optimization. They can find overlooked deductions or credits. It's their job to make sure that they're keeping up with the law. So they might know about things that have changed that even if you've done your own taxes in the past that you might not know. So there's a certain feeling of confidence and peace of mind that comes along with having a professional do them. And then knowledge of tax laws is another biggie. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act is another good example of changes in tax laws that might affect your taxes. And if you're just filling out paper forms by yourself, you might not know everything there is to know. And then finally, in the unlikely chance that you get audited, someone who is a CPA can actually represent you to the IRS. And that can be a very nice, benefit to have that a CPA can provide, because if it comes to having to justify all those expenses and credits and things, it's nice to have someone else that you can kind of hand the ball off to. So, with all those three different professionals, financial advisor, estate planning attorney, and tax preparer, why do you need all three of them? And the financial advisor's job is to make sure that you're hitting all your future goals, right? To help you plan for them, help you prepare. An estate planning attorney helps to make sure that your estate's administered efficiently, that your intentions are followed, and maybe even can help out your beneficiaries by saving them some tax money if things are done intelligently. And then finally, the CPA or tax preparer can take the difficult tax of the taxing task of tax preparation off of your plate, and maybe even save some money on taxes for you in the long run. So, with that being said, I'm going to open the door to Q&A. I'm going to give it just a moment to see if anybody has any questions. I don't see anyone popping up. Jim, do you see anybody? Do you see any comments or?
I don't see any questions in there yet. If you do have a question about anything Sean covered, first of all, great job, Sean. There's a Q&A button down at the bottom you can click if you want to submit a question. If you don't want to submit the question live today, you can always email us at info@hendrickswealth.com and we can answer it. While we're waiting to see if there's any questions, we have some upcoming seminars as we do these on a weekly basis. So every Wednesday at 11:30 Central, we're doing these webinars. And next week, the 18th, we will have Dan Leitner doing What Really Drives Long-Term Investment Success. The following week, on the 25th of March, we'll have Tom Anderson speaking about legacy giving and leaving your mark. Following week, on April 1st, Jim Hendricks is going to have a guest speaker covering Medicare 101, so the ins and outs of Medicare and how to navigate that whole system. And then the week after that, on April 8th, I will be doing a presentation on the psychology of the spend down and how to transition from a successful saver into a confident spender. So those are the next few we have upcoming. So again, if you have any questions, put them in there. If not, I will leave it to Sean to close out the session.
Hey, I don't see any questions or comments, so thank you for attending or watching. We really love to be able to put this information out for people. And if you are, you can see the phone numbers for Illinois and Florida on the screen. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. Email us at info@hendrickswealth.com. And if you would like to see any of the prior events that we've done, or you want to be able, you can see them at our website, hendrickswealth.com/events. So with that, and without any questions coming in, we will say goodbye for today. Jim and Dan and Tom, thanks you guys for your help. And we will look forward to hosting future events for you guys in the weeks to come.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much.